From Buffalo to the big leagues, this is Maddie Tells All. All right, guys, we have Jon Antonio over here, and I'm so excited to have you. You are working for a huge company, but also you're from Buffalo, New York, living in New York City. You graced me with your presence with a DM of, hey, welcome to New York. We have a ton of mutuals. Let's get together and get coffee. And now you're here.
Yeah, and first podcast guest.
First podcast
being on
ever.
camera freaks me out, so this is like helping me get over all those.
Yeah, he said he had
nerves.
to come with a coffee because he was like, I'm freaking out.
Right
Doesn't
here.
that give you more like energy and buzz
it like
now?
calms me. I don't know. I like to do really well in chaos, so
Okay.
the more chaotic a situation, the calmer I am.
Perfect. We should
Maybe
have
that's
the circus
toxic.
in the back.
I don't know, but we'll figure that out another day.
I love it. So you're from Buffalo, New York, and you moved here, 2 years ago?
Yeah, so I've been here just over 2 years. I moved here January 2023, at the end of January.
That's insane. So I know that you started real estate at 18 years old.
Yeah, I started when I was in college because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to work for anyone. The idea of like having a boss tell me when I could take off, time off, I wasn't about it. And then I fell into real estate, and then I saw the show $1 Million Listing, which now I'm working for Ryan at Serhant. And I was just, the mindset I had with it was similar to like how athletes are like, oh, I'm going to go play football. I want to go play at Alabama, Georgia, SEC. It was like that same thought process because I thought if you were on TV, you're the best of the best. And it was like you're making absorbent amount of money.
Isn't that so fun? That's how my brain works. That's how my friend Ryan, like, unless I'm like stripped all over a billboard, on a commercial, on a Netflix show, like, I look at myself as like, you didn't make it yet. But that's the life of an entrepreneur. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yes, but I think that's like where sports comes in, and being a former athlete, that like really teaches you that it's like next play, and there's always someone out there that's better than you. So it kind of like strips your ego.
Correct. Yeah, so you also played D1 lacrosse. Yes. Which I played lacrosse, but was not D1 by any means. How do you think that structured where you are now?
The ego. Like I thought, because like to get to that level, you have to have a form of an ego of like you think you're the best, right? And then when I got there, I was like, wow, I'm like one of the worst people on the team. Like, I'm atrocious compared to the relatively I'm not bad, but like.
And who'd you play for?
I played for Hobart, and then I transferred to Merciers, which was Division 2.
Okay, I used to party up there.
But great time.
Great time.
If you can survive Erie, they say you can make it in New York, make it anywhere.
There's a bar.
It's like you survive Erie, you can make it anywhere.
There was a bar that had 10-cent drafts. Like
yes.
it was rough.
Yeah, there would be, and then on Fridays it was like dollar imports. So like we would joke and say if you spent more than $20 drinking, you might need to go to like AA or something.
100%.
There's no reason to spend that
Game
much
over.
money. Yeah. But sports, I think sports has a lot of transferable skills, like the routine, the structure, the really figuring out where you fit in, right? So like me not being from New York, being at such like a high profile boutique company, like a lot of people here have the connections, all these things. I didn't. So for me, I knew right away I'm going to have to work, like never take a day off, always say yes to every opportunity. And that was really what was going to provide me future value. And
saying yes to everything, opportunity is huge. But then also, not to mention, you had a mother that had you young, and you're the only sibling, right?
Yeah, only child.
Now, was that a sense of like loneliness and wanting to fit in and make friends and just like be someone who's a boss, because then people are going to come to you?
That's actually a good question. I never thought about it like that. I love school from the social aspect, but more so than anything else, everything I saw her do, I thought was normal. And then when you start hanging out with friends and seeing how their parents move and operate, I was like, this is not normal. But she never made me have a job in high school. She was like, focus on either school or lacrosse or all these things.
Wow. God. Well, lacrosse and yeah.
So what that kind of taught me, observing her and seeing everything she went through at such a young age, it gave me the internal belief that I could do anything. Which a lot of people, I know we were talking about this before we hopped on, a lot of people struggle with their self-identity, but then I think a lot of people channel it in a way where they become very egotistical, and people are like, I like you, but I don't want to work with you.
Yes.
Like, no, you're not worth the headache. It was just an internal belief that if like, because as you get older, you realize things, right? So it's like, you have appreciation for your parents and how much you love your parents.
Them.
So it's like, you think back to like, wow, at one point I'm 31, she was 31, but she had like her son was in high school. Like, wait, what?
That's insane.
Yeah. So
my parents had the three of us by age 25, and then 10 years later had two more kids. Like, what? I'm like, I can't imagine having 3 children running around right now.
Exactly.
Like, that'd be insane.
So just from the sports aspect of like the mental toughness and all these things, it just gave me that internal like belief and drive that no matter what's put in front of me, there's a way to get over the hurdle. It's just a matter of time. And then me kind of figuring out within myself, like, do I actually want to do this or am I just talking?
So what were you going to school for in college?
Political science.
Oh.
Because I thought I wanted to go to law school. I was just thinking money because I was like, oh,
money,
my mom,
money, yeah.
Like, I want to take care of my mom. Like, she'll be 50 this summer. So in August, she'll be 49.
It's cool they got a young mom.
I know. So like, I always told her by her 50th birthday, I'm going to retire her.
Okay.
Which I'm definitely going to do. And now it's on here. So now I have to do it.
I realize if you don't set goals for yourself and deadlines, if I don't set deadlines for myself, it's not getting done.
So what's interesting about that, a lot of people disagree with this, is that by setting a deadline, it's not a, wow, I failed. It's like, okay, because time and speed are everything. And that's like something I've learned here from like Andrew, my team lead and everything, is that like you're getting, as we say in like real estate, a comp in real time. Mm-hmm. Like if you put in an offer on a property, seller says no, you at least know where they might do a deal at. That's a comp in real time. Whereas if you don't ever put in the offer, you don't actually ever know.
Yeah.
So the way that I look at the goals is like, if I say that by August, I need to have XYZ, I don't hit XYZ. I either go, okay, I either need to get better in that moment and there's more time I need to invest, or this is actually going to take a lot longer. So then it really allows you to reconfigure it. So it's like the goal is like an arbitrary thing, but it's also a non-negotiable thing. And I'm really now trying to figure out how much time it's going to take me to get this done, because then I think that applies to the next goal. So that's like kind of how I look at goals.
So when was the shift? Because, you know, we talked about it. We sometimes are like, college is a scam. So when did that hit you?
It was... I don't know, because like what I've learned is like, I just had this conversation today at the office with a friend, is that like when I started playing lacrosse at the D1 level, like you have imposter syndrome, right? So it's like every level you get to, you feel like you don't belong because you're learning and you're growing. And then it really hits you that like the growth is endless. It's just a matter of how far you want to go with it, right? So for me, the biggest shift was like, I thought that when it came to business, these people are like crazy smart, like way out of my league, all these things. And then you get in rooms with people, even with like the lacrosse aspect to it too. It's like, oh, wow, like the idea that I had in my head is way higher than what the actual thing is. So for me, it's like, again, back to like, where do I fit in? Where could I be of a value? And where, if I'm working with you, where you're like, I need to work with Jon, because he's providing me something that I can't find anywhere else. And I think for me, I can't speak for everyone, that's always worked for me. So like with college, I was like, wait a second, no offense to business teachers, but a lot of them, I would ask them questions just like, because I was curious, and a lot of them never built anything. So in my head, I'm like, why?
That's crazy when you think about that.
No offense. Like, why, like don't get lessons to how to cook for me. I'm not a chef. But if you're asking me about...
Wait, that's like a hot take right there. I'm going to write that down. Like, it just makes sense. Like, you are my business professor, but you don't have any investments or like equity in any other companies. Like, what? You just you went to school, did your thing, got the A, and you're just kind of coasting. And that's what we talk about a lot. We talk about Buffalo coasting. Yeah. A lot of people are totally fine with white picket, going to college, getting married, having kids, white picket fence, and just like living that life. And like, then there's people like you and I who are like, we just see the drive and I just won't stop until then.
The other thing too is like, I think that there's comfortness in it. Like every time I go back to Buffalo, it's like, damn, I wish I could like be here chilling.
I stayed for an extra week.
That's my point. It's so nice.
Couldn't leave.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. But I think you internally know if that's what you really want out of life. And I don't think that it's so much more small-mindedness. Mm-hmm. And people are, I think people are just like afraid to fail because of their relationship with failure.
Ooh, well, you got to get uncomfortable to be comfortable.
Yeah, and like the way that I always looked at it is, it's like, okay, I was born to a single teenage parent. It's just her and I. Yeah. I have nothing to lose. Like, if I'm searching for an opportunity with you and you tell me no, or you fire me, okay, I at least learned in the moment. And now I'm like, okay, this is what I learned with Maddie. I can go apply this somewhere else. And it was always just like the glass half full mentality.
So I need to know, you watched $1 Million Listing And that's something my mom absolutely loves that show. You watched that, and I think you told me you watched it and you were like, I want to work for that dude. Was it Ryan right away?
No, I watched all of them because just from like what my mom was telling me about life was not what my teachers were telling me. But then, so I was just like, okay, someone not necessarily is wrong here, but I'm getting sold on two different ideas of how you can go about things. Kind of like with you, how you started BFS and you did everything organically, and people are like, you're not this, you're not that, but you're like, fuck it, I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Can we swear?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
My dad is always like, Madeline, is it the Buffalo? Like, I swear so. Like crazy. And my dad's like, Madeline, no one likes a lady that swears to me. I'm like, you swear around me all the time. And
one
you're
thing
my dad.
I'll die on about Buffalo is that people from Buffalo are, whether you're a full-blown degenerate or you're a goody two-shoes, doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum, people from Buffalo are real. That is like something I'll die on the hill about. And I think that like in New York, that works with a lot of people because it's like, okay, you might be a little rough around the edges and like you're not polished, but like.
Did you watch that show, Sirens?
No, I don't even know what that is.
You what? Okay, done. You need, real quick.
What is it?
You need to watch it on Netflix. And it has huge Hollywood actors from White Lotus and all these other shows, comedians. And the two girls that are sisters are from Buffalo in it. And the one doesn't leave Buffalo, and she's like a hooker and like getting out of jail, and like dad's an alcoholic with like Alzheimer, and then the other sister who left Buffalo is like working at this like high-end, $1 billion resort with this family and yada yada yada. And it was they say like fuck the Chiefs in it. They talk about Buffalo so much. You have to, but it's just like so funny because I feel like we talk about it, and we've mentioned that it's crazy that when we left Buffalo, all these people were coming out of the woodworks. I know myself as a business owner, as soon as I moved, people started taking me a lot more serious because when I went back to Buffalo for 2 weeks, my phone was ringing off the hook. Oh, I know you're not going to be in town all summer. Like, can I get you in now? Can we do a deal now? Like, and I was like, where were you guys? The last 4 years, I've been working my ass off. Yeah. And now I move out of Buffalo. I still have an apartment in Buffalo and I have clients in there. But we talked about that. I feel like people kind of respect you more. And I'm like, guys, I've been doing the same hustle and grind.
Yeah, I think a lot, and this actually can tie back to sports as well. Like when I was at Hobart, they would always be like, even sports in general, they're like, be careful what you post on social media. Or even like my mom would tell me all the time, like the things you want to do in life, you're going to be held to a higher standard. You either capitulate to that standard or you don't do it. It doesn't matter what you want. It's just, that's how it is. And so the other thing with that is I think a lot of people, because like I'm naturally very goofy. I kind of have a reputation as I don't really give a fuck, right? Yeah. And it's not like, it's just like at the end of the day, I think that certain people have a certain way about doing things. It's like when you go into a country club, it's like you can't be like, we're going in a venue or like. Isn't
it crazy? People have sometimes no common sense about that. I'm like, can you not
and
scream?
I think that because people put certain things on a pedestal, right or wrong, whatever it is, it's just like they have the idea in their head of like what, if you're at that level or you're doing that thing, what it's supposed to look like. And they'd be like, no, you can't do that, or no, you're not that. And it's funny because like as soon as I moved to New York, a lot of people are like, oh, do you have a referral for me, or do you have all this, right? And it's just like, you didn't take me serious. But I would argue that that is a great asset to have, because then you, basically what I'm trying to say is like, if you're doubted, it's like, it's fine, because then you surprise people and then more people come out of the woodwork. But if you're expected a lot and you do it, it's like, okay, you're expected to do that. So it's kind of like, just depends like what side of the coin you look at it from.
No, 100%. And I'll say I always will kill people with kindness. I will never let them know my like internal thoughts. And I think that's like a superpower I have. I've been in crazy, uncomfortable situations before where things didn't go the right way. And it's my hospitality background. You smile and you just act like shit isn't hitting the fan. Yeah. And you want your customer, your client to have the best experience and not know what else is going on. And you just have to, be the bigger person at the end of the day, always.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what people think, right? Because like if people are expecting you to go to New York and be like the next Alex Cooper or Joe Rogan of podcasting, and you become that, it's like, okay, no, you didn't surprise us, you were expected to do that. And it's like, oh, okay, well, okay. And you might be disappointed by that, right? But then if no one believed in you and you did do it, it's like you still did it anyways. But it's like, where are you getting off? Are you getting off on the validation? Are you getting off on the booze? I think it's like all relative to like.
Well, thank you for that boost right there.
Yeah.
I love Joe Rogan. I love Alex Cooper. I just watched that documentary, Call Her Alex, and it was so good.
Was that what the Tribeca Film Festival thing was?
Yes. Yeah. No, it was just, I did not know any. I didn't watch her like early stages. I've only ever seen a bunch of more TikTok videos. And now that I'm doing the podcasting, I'm like, I should start really listening and flowing. But like, the girl knew how to edit Adobe Pro by 10 years old and was doing Alex Cooper trained herself how to do all that kind of stuff, had a production studio in her parents' basement with a green screen, and was full on doing word for word movies and redoing them and acting with her friends. And I'm like, that's like, I had my own TV show. Like in high school, I was president of the cable club and I was on channel 17. Club. Yeah. Cable club. Cable club. No, crazy. I love it. People are like, what? That's so nerdy. But like, it was so amazing. We got to literally take our creativity and just like make all these different scenes. And then everyone would see us on the morning announcements. And then we had to do the, more corporate-y high school thing and like interview the principals. But like my teacher would always ask me like, hey, can I get a questionnaire of what you're going to ask me for? I'm like, no. I was like, I need to just like go, like I make a point when, you're my first guest in here and I know there's certain topics I want to hit. So I'm like, I want to make sure I get all those. It's going to be in the back of my head. So yes, like I write down some things so that I could just go boom, boom, boom. And also to make sure the time is flowing.
The one thing tying sports back to it, right, is in sports, there like coaches will say like your number is going to get called eventually, but like, are you going to be ready for it, right? So you could argue that with the Alex Cooper thing that you were talking about, how like Dave saw the sizzle reel and he was like, who made that for you?
Yeah.
She's like, I did. He's like, okay, I need to hire you.
Yep.
That's like where the value comes in of just like I don't know her and I don't know how the full situation played out, but in my mind, it's like she was doing things proactively, being like, I'm not going to wait for someone to teach me something because they may never teach it to me or I may never get the opportunity. I'm going to make my own opportunity. And then when Dave came across her, the rest is history, right? Same with you and how you started BFS. So that was kind of my thought process when you asked me, like, did you want to work for Ryan specifically? I was like, okay, of all the people I could see myself working for that I think I'd do well with, it was Josh Altman, Ryan, all that. And then what I did was I kind of just emailed, cold called, like all these things trying to get in front of them. Never happened. But I still was like, okay, at some point in time, it will happen. Don't know when. But when it does happen, I have to...
You're prepared.
I have to be valuable for them to be like, I would want to hire you. I would want to work with you. And I think that's where like the college scam thing gets tied in, because then it's like school teaches you that you need all these certifications. You need all these things. Some things you do. Like, I'm not a surgeon. I need to go to medical school for that. But for the most part, it's like, okay, if I'm starting a podcast, it's like, okay, how do I get these mics? How do I do the lighting? How do I do the cameras? All these things. You can essentially do it yourself. But I think the other side of the coin is that a lot of people don't want to do that and they don't want to admit to not wanting to do that.
A lot of people just want it easy. And that's what I think with social media. I've made it such a point with Game Day and like all my clients. People need to see the behind scenes and they need to see the hustle and bustle of how much work goes into being an entrepreneur or business owner. Yeah. And I love it. Like at the podcast studio, they're like filming all this stuff of like, as soon as we get out of here, like the next hour, studio's here. So then they'll turn it to that. Yeah. And then I'll come back in here. We'll put all my stuff on. But like that's with that at Game Day, like breaking tables, folding things. And then I'm doing all the social media and editing it right there. But I never went to, I dropped out of college. I
didn't know that.
Ooh, yeah, I know. It's going to be like a good hot take. I can't wait to talk about it in my like personal ones. But I was going to school. It was my junior year, probably like mid-junior year. And I was, one of the head bartenders over at Cabaret Restaurant downtown in the theater district, which is literally the financial district downtown. Is that where
Encore was?
Yeah, right next to Encore.
Oh my God, we could do a whole episode on Encore. Encore's goated.
Sushi
There's not
night
a single
and
person in Buffalo that doesn't say that about Encore.
That's facts.
It was the best place.
But I kept getting business cards sent to me. And I may or may not have lied to my parents for like 6 months that I was still in school until they got my student loans because it was getting sent to their house and I lived in an apartment. And I was like, what are you talking about? Long story short, it was just all these business people were like, you're so outgoing, you're so talkative. Here's my business card. And I like, after I went to them and I was like, look at all these business cards. They're all vice presidents, CEOs of huge companies. Yeah. They want me to work for them. They know I didn't graduate college. I'm like, I'm not worried about it. I was going for communications. Yeah. But with social media, I was able to really teach myself so much about it. And then during 2020, like I lost my job in the service industry and I went all in. I went all into BFS and it worked out for me. And I know when I focus more on like one thing, it's so hard. I love helping businesses out. I get pulled in this way and pulled in this way. So how do you, in your field, you have, it's like competition, community, like you guys are all at the end of the day trying to sell all the houses, but aren't you guys kind of competing against each other?
We are competing, but there's like this is the thing, is there's enough business to go around. Like 1 in 22 people in New York City are millionaires. There's trillions.
What was that?
Yeah, there was just a report that came out. The Wealth Report just said that. I think it was the Wealth Report. Don't quote me wrong, but it was 1 in 22 or 1 in 23 people in New York City are millionaires.
It's insane.
So if you look at it on like a grand scale, it's like there's trillions of dollars in this 13-mile island.
Literally
I should know
so
how
tiny.
long it is.
Yeah.
But whatever.
We only made it for 2 years.
Yeah. So like there's so much wealth. So it's like if you did $100 million in sales, that has nothing to do with me. I think so many people think like Maddie's crushing it. She's doing $20 million deals. Oh my God, like what is going on? Like, and we'll try to like almost gatekeep information from you, or they're intimidated by you. Yeah. But it's like, wait a second, you're successful for a reason. How do you do that? Because you can't sell every property under the sun. Now, if we're in a certain neighborhood and we're pitching the same developer or the seller or stuff, okay, yeah, maybe at that point we're competing. But at the end of the day, there's enough business to go around, and I think people get tripped up by that.
Yep.
That's the thing where it's just like, and I think like, I don't want to say false narratives, but like narratives like that is I think what keep people from actually going and doing something. Because you hear all the time, people are like, it's oversaturated. Why would you want to do it?
Hey, that's like me with like the food blogging and me with literally anything I do. Oh, podcasting, cool. A ton of people do it.
But people don't realize that they need something until they see it. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know I needed that thing, or that's the next best thing, or you know what I mean? It's almost like, and the way my mind works is like comparing so many different things, because that's how I learn best. But you look like Lamar Jackson, for example, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Josh Allen. All the quarterbacks are dual threat quarterbacks. Like 10 years ago, they were like, if you were a scrambling quarterback, you were horrible.
Yep.
Now every quarterback almost damn near has to scramble. Yep. So it's like things change and things shift. So I think that like certain things like that, that's why I like when you said you like behind the scene things, I love that, because then you get in rooms and you're like, wait a second. The illusion or the thing I put on a pedestal and thought was actually the thing is not actually the thing. Like, I used to think, like, all these people are just, like, how do you know so many people? How are you doing all this business? How are you doing that? And then, like, I meet certain people are just, like, just cold call. Just reach out to people. Just
literally. I mean, you're the amount of people that you guys have had in and out of the doors. I watched the TV show. Like, so what's the one now? It's Selling New York, or what's...
Selling the City.
Selling the City is the one that's on now. And that was just so cool, because after I met you, I was like, okay, I need to start, like, watching this kind of stuff. And I love how they talk about Ryan's main strategy is implementing social media is one of their main selling points. And one of the one of the girls on the show, it was a girl and guy, and they had a pitch to this millionaire that they wanted to sell his like $16 million house. And he did his whole like, I'm in New York and I know all these people and, look at my record. And she's like, hey, I'm newer. I think she was like a Broadway actor or something. And she was like,
Chloe?
Yeah, maybe. Like she always wears loud colors. And she was like, she's like, I have all these TikTokers and YouTube connections. I'm going to throw like a Cirque du Soleil party at your place. Everyone's going to do it. All the video went viral and they ended up selling virtually. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's different because it's from, like, when I first got into the business and obviously, all the lawsuits and everything going on, it was more so of, like, I'm going to, take a 6-7% commission. I'm going to incentivize the buy side. It's the scene with Niall and Chloe.
Yes.
So, like, people like Niall, Chloe, Ryan, like, all the thing. It's, like, the social media, it's, like, I'm able to bring more eyeballs than just throwing it online in my inner circle. So that's, like, where the whole social media aspect, like, blows it up even more. And that's like the power of being at a company like Serhant and being associated with brokers like a Niall, like a Chloe, and all these things, because now we're all in the same room together.
Yep.
We could also collaborate on things, like, and that's like where the real power is too. But that's also like goes to like the trends changing like within the industry and everything.
100%.
There's actually I gotta connect you, but one of the girls that's, I think, a producer or one of the producers for Selling Sunset and Selling the City is actually a Buffalo girl. She's from Lancaster.
Hell, we love that.
Yes.
I just like the amount of it was very hard for me to make that decision. For 2 months, I did like a marketing campaign of keeping it a secret that I was moving to Buffalo. Nobody knew. And honestly, it was because I was really scared. I was really scared.
What were you scared of?
People, exactly what happened. People just being mean to me and just like being like, you left Buffalo, you don't even care about. I'm like, I still have an apartment in Buffalo. I still have a business in Buffalo. And I want to scream Buffalo from my rooftop and let people know about our beautiful city. But I know myself and I need to be challenged harder than ever. And what better way to do it where there is thousands and millions of people that are doing podcasts, doing food blogging, doing all that kind of stuff. But I've been here for a few months and I'm like, it's happening. But Buffalo people have connected with me. That's why I'm on this podcast.
Yeah.
It was a BFS fan that connected. Oh, my brother owns this podcast studio. Told them all about, like, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of momentum. Buffalo people are going to connect you all day.
Buffalo has so much talent. There's so many dope, cool people doing dope things in Buffalo, but they don't like expand and like don't ever want to go else. Which it's very family centric.
Or they did leave, and now they're like doing stuff like producing shows.
Yeah.
Because you just need to be in an area where there's many more production studios
100%.
Going on, like and everything.
I remember having I won't drop their names, but the Legacy House kids.
Yes.
I remember having a conversation with two
love their
of them.
stuff.
And it's like, I remember the conversation they were telling me is like their stuff's blowing up because they go travel.
Yes.
Right? But their home base is Buffalo.
And they teach huge classes and runway shows.
I just saw that. Yeah.
I will shout out them all day. Legacy, their content is something that I literally, their production studio, and I follow their content left and right because it teaches me and it makes me want to be a better video editor.
Well, I will name drop one person. Nick does all the stuff for the NHL.
Yep.
Like he goes to all the Stanley Cup games, so like all the NHL
And he's got his own brand too.
Exactly. So all the NHL clips you see on the NHL's main page, like that's Nick.
Yeah.
That's Nick and Derek.
Like crazy.
So a lot of times, like you either have to like, and this is the thing, right? Is that like I learned at a young age from my mom is that like you have to pivot and adjust. Like it is what it is, and like it takes what it takes. Like you either have to have Buffalo as your home base and you travel and you go outward, or you pick up and go to where all that action is. But you can't have it like where it's like I'm gonna stay in Buffalo and I'm just gonna reap the like I'm gonna do all these things. You have to like go.
No, you do. And I know that you talked about traveling and that it's changed your perspective a lot. I know it's done that for me as well. So tell me a little bit about that.
It's more so of like all the different places I've traveled. There's so many different types of people. And so like growing up in Buffalo, I thought
do you wear Bill's clothes? Because
everywhere I travel, I wear Bill's something.
It's the best way for people to come and talk to you. Like in the airport, I'm like, and then if I see someone wearing a Bills hat, I will run to them. I'll miss my flight.
You could tell who's a fraudulent Bills fan though.
Yeah, I know.
Because if you say go Bills and they say go Buffalo or Josh Allen, it's like you're not a Bills fan.
Go Josh.
And now I'm about to crash out because you're not a real fan.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
Because like you're only a fan because we're good now. Where were you the first 24 years of my life when they didn't sniff the playoffs? We were still there at 8 a.m. for a 1 o'clock game.
Yep.
So the traveling aspect taught me a lot because it is more so of everywhere you go, people are different.
Yeah.
And I think that the more you're able to understand people helps you in a job like this or even like what you're doing, because you may be able to talk to me a certain way, but might not be able to connect with me the same way you connect with your next 3 guests. So I think it's valuable in that aspect, but it kind of taught me just like Buffalo, like my reality, my universe is not the center of the universe. So like what's normal to me may not be normal to someone that lives in California or North Dakota. I've never been to North Dakota, but you're just throwing that out there. But just from traveling all over and then meeting so many people from playing sports, that was kind of like where...
Is that why you were traveling because of sports?
Along the East Coast with lacrosse. But then after I graduated college, because I was so dead set on like getting into a luxury market, I was like, I have school covered. Let me go bop around all these different cities friends live for a year, but like learn from people real estate wise there.
I love it. You took a leap year, essentially.
I didn't really start making money in real estate for close to like 10 years.
So you were in Buffalo, and then you also, weren't you in Denver?
I was in Boston, Denver.
And you were living in those places?
Yeah,
I love it. You were just like, I'm going.
Yeah, it would be like if you lived or a friend of mine lived in like Texas or something. I'd be like, I'm going to go to Texas for the summer. I'm going to work for the best broker I could find there. I'm going to work for free. I'm going to work at the bar, work at a restaurant.
Dude.
And then it's like, but I'm learning from you directly how you built your business. So it's even like with sports too, is like you can pick like different things. You can learn different things from all different types of players and then kind of like create a player of like what type of player you want to be kind of in a way. So that's how I looked at it.
Okay. I love that you mentioned hospitality because that's literally where I was going with this. Have you ever done you've worked in hospitality?
Bar backing and bartending. So no, I'm not discounting it, but I'm saying like to like trying
bar
to connect
backing
it.
is legit hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. But what I'm more so going towards is like, have you stayed at the Four Seasons before?
I don't know.
Or like a really nice resort like the Ritz or anything?
No. I partied at the Ritz. Shout out Marcus Schultz concert. Wild.
I don't know who wrote the book, but I'm pretty sure the book's called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Okay.
Where it talks about like what you were saying, like if you just do like little things. So like what I learned here in New York with a lot of like millionaires, I assume I met some billionaires, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But like really high net worth people it's not the price tag. It's the value you're providing. So a lot of people that I know personally have gone and always stayed at like a Four Seasons or a Ritz, and I'm like, why do you pay that much money when you stay at the Marriott?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't publicly ever say that.
I know.
But that's the Buffalo in me being like, I'm just sleeping.
Literally,
but they say all the time, it's the value. Like
it's the networking too.
When you walk in, they know little details about you. Like if you have a daughter, they're gonna make sure if your daughter likes XYZ, it's always there for her.
Yeah.
So it's just like little value things, right? So like that's like kind of like what that book was with hospitality, the unreasonable hospitality.
So that's what I was going to ask. I want to know that when you're in real estate school, are they doing anything to teach nothing? See, I can't believe there's not a 411 class or a section that you guys have to learn about proper etiquette, hospitality, besides just baking cookies or putting a cookie in the microwave so your place smells like cookies.
I might be called an idiot on this, but nothing about the class relates to the actual job. And I joke.
It's just the degree, you know. So fun fact is that I was 70% through with getting my real estate license during COVID.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what was happening, and I was like, dude, I know so many people, and I'm so outgoing.
Yeah.
And I could crush it. I know if I was in real estate, I would murder it. But then BFS took off, and I was like, passion or safe? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're always trying to talk everyone into do real estate. I remember you have the selfie with Ryan.
Yeah.
And was that the day that he hired you had a meeting with him?
No, I wanted to pick his brain on a couple things. And then he took a selfie with me. And then obviously I posted it on Instagram and stuff. But it was just, that was like back to your initial point of like kind of like behind the scenes stuff. Like I had this grand idea of just like, oh my God, like to get on this level and stuff like that. But like, and then being obviously, you know, from the brief conversations I've had with him and stuff like that. And it's just like, he's a workhorse.
Yeah. I mean, from the TV show and does it all with like a huge smile. It seems like he rewards like his people that are in his circle that are working their ass off. He wants them to know they're appreciated, which I think is huge. I'm a words of affirmation. And how important is it to you to get like that text message from a boss or Andrew, your lead, and just been like, I see you working? I think
for me, I don't necessarily need it. But that's me specifically.
Yep.
Just like when I was playing sports, like coaches would scream bloody murder at me.
You're like, I'm good.
And it wouldn't faze me because I get that they may be using me to get through to everyone else, right? Yep. And you can't. So I think now it's harder and harder to be, because I don't know specifically like what he does or what he doesn't do. I only know like working with like Andrew specifically, like what he does. And I find him to be a great leader. And I think leadership is super hard nowadays because it's not a one size fits all like it was back in the day. It was like, okay, if me and you are working together, the leader can't talk to me the same way he's going to talk to you. Yeah. Like you got to pull different strings and different levers. So I think that like with leadership, it's kind of like a little bit harder because not only do you need to learn all the different personalities, but you got to figure out how to lead each individual person, where you can push, where you can pull. And that in and of itself is like a full-time job.
So when you guys went into and you got the job, got the job for Ryan's, no, you said that you were sending in application. I got
the job in the craziest way.
Yeah, how?
So I kind of like manifested it, like full
we have to talk about that. That's on our list.
So I'm like a delusional optimist. Like, I'm just like, fuck it. What? I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to go walk in.
You have to be okay with rejection.
Like, let's say Jeff, just because we're talking business, let's say Jeff Bezos was like around the corner out here.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, like, Jeff's out there. Like, don't go out there and say hi to him. Respectfully, I'm going and saying hi to him. When am I going to be in the room with Jeff Bezos again, right?
Yeah.
But the thought process isn't like I'm coming to ask you for something. It's just like, hey, Jeff, I want you to know who I am. My name's Jon Antonio. Look him in the face. Hey, how are you? Now might not be the time, but if the time ever arises again, I would love to have a conversation with you, take you to dinner, whatever. There's no real value. Or most people think like I have nothing to offer one of the richest men in the world that's built Amazon, all these things. But just me going and doing that, shaking him, looking him in the face, like doing that, he's going to remember that. I would hope at least. To
Instead
a little
of,
bit.
hey, can I have a selfie?
Yeah, stuff like that, right? Yeah. So with me, it was kind of like, okay, I want to do real estate at this level. Everyone I've reached out to told me no. They just flat out told me no. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to take no for an answer. How can I eventually get there? And that's where I came up with let me travel to all these different places. Let me learn from these people. And what I actually would tell people is I would tell them that I was going to work for Ryan and that I just had to do this. I don't even remember what I was saying. I was lying out my ass just to get an opportunity. But I was always like, I always honored the opportunity. Like, yeah. I would say like, Madeline, if you didn't think I was working hard enough or at any point in time you want to fire me, sure, fire me. Like, that's on me, yeah. Right? I'm very big and it comes from my mom. Like, I'm not owed anything, but if someone gives me an opportunity, it's on me to make the most of the opportunity. Like, if I fail or whatever, that's on me. So yeah. I was always like, I don't want any handouts. I don't want nothing. I just want an opportunity. Give me time and I'll prove you right. And so what I did was I was always reaching out. I was always DMing, always sending emails, calling the office off, nothing. So I remember having a conversation with my grandpa. My grandpa's like, okay, how long are you going to keep doing this for? Because I did this all my 20s. All my 20s I was doing this. But then it wasn't even so much I wanted to work like for or with him specifically. It was like, if I'm playing football, it's like, I just want to get to Alabama. Yeah. Even if like Nick Saban was like, hey, here's a walk-on position. Cool. I'm at least in the room. Let me prove my worth. That's like the thought process of it. And then I was in the process of actually getting my license down in Florida and was going to move to Tampa. This was like during COVID, when COVID hit and you couldn't do anything and everyone's going down south. So I was just like,
I stayed in Florida for some time.
That's what I'm saying.
I got a lot of hate, but I was living.
No, that's what I'm saying. No,
I was like,
politics.
What am I also
I'm not even making it political. It's just I
had a business to run.
That's my point.
And I did pop-ups and the Bills were killing it. I did pop-ups at Tampa or the patio bar in Tampa.
Oh, and yes, patio. Yeah.
I just invested thousands of dollars into clothes and nothing was happening. Yeah. And I loaded up the van and I said, I'm going to Florida. Well, that's the thing.
I went to visit a friend in Miami. There was no pandemic in Miami.
At all.
No wear a mask sign, nothing. So I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And so then having a lot of friends in Tampa, I was just like, let me get my license down there. No one in the luxury space would give me a chance. No one wants to give me an opportunity. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Yeah. Whatever. Who cares? Not a big deal. So then a friend of mine I grew up with, he's lived in New York for 3 years. He's like, come visit me. You visit all these other people. You've got to come visit me in New York. Fine. Sure. I come down January of 2023. We're walking around Soho. I saw the Serhant office. I was just like, oh, I forgot he started his own company. I actually have a Snapchat on my phone from during COVID when like on the episode of $1 Million Listing when they announced that like he's doing his own company. I took a snap and was like, I'm gonna show him this one day while I'm working there. Like I said, I'm delusional. Yep. But we were talking about this because you have journals and everything. Yeah. Like I would just write the most delusional things down, and all my friends know because in my room in college, I would have like notes all over like posters.
You're like my friend Ryan.
And we would come hang out in my room. People would look and be like, "You're crazy. Like, what is wrong with you?" Maybe just a
little bit.
Yeah, but like I had nothing to lose. Like, what's it matter? Yeah. Like you're gonna laugh at me? Sure. I laugh at myself all the time. Like, whatever. So visiting. Long story short, went back home. I was like, all right, I'm going to try to move to New York, but I only am going to move if I could work here. But that was like I have no interest in moving to New York, but I was just keeping my friend happy. I was just sure, whatever. Reached out to everyone at the company. Everyone told me no. I was just like, okay, whatever. Then Mike Klima, which is Andrew's brother, he's a real estate attorney in Buffalo, which everyone should use him. His office is right across from Imperial.
Shout out, yeah.
Shout out, Mike.
Love Imperial.
Yes, exactly. So I was at Imperial with Mike. He told me, he was like, next time you're in New York, I got to connect you with my brother Andrew. My brother Andrew's a big broker down there. all that. And he's like, oh, I forgot. He actually works at Serhant. He was like, that'd be a good connect for you. And so I looked it up.
Were you trying to keep it cool?
No, well, I was just like, in my head, I was just like, oh, this is like really small world. Like, what are the odds? And then so he connected us, and Andrew called me and was just kind of, like, why do you want to, but I was already in the process of reaching out to other people at other companies too. Cause I'm like, you know what, why not? Maybe this is how I get into it. Never thought about living in New York. I would love to, cause I've always come here as a kid, but the idea of Florida was stuck in my head.
Yep.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know. In case the pandemic happens again, I don't like, what do I do for work? I didn't want to do any of that. So, Andrew invited me down and then pretty much was like, do you want to do this? And I just said yes right on the spot. And then I called my mom and grandma and they're like, how'd it go? I'm like, I'm moving here next week. And then this is where like the real divine intervention comes in is one of my best friends, it was my college roommate, Mark Marino. His sister Julia was in the Winter Olympics. So she's always traveling, always doing stuff. We went to dinner that night and she was just like, when are you moving to New York? I'm like, next week. I thought it's like how it is in Buffalo. You just walk into an apartment complex, meet the leasing agent, sign right there.
I had to play arts and crafts to get into mine, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know there was the 40 times or everything that's involved in New York. So she was just like, you're going to make me sick. Like, how are you going to find an apartment so quickly? I'm like, whatever, I'll stay at a hotel. Like, I'm not turning this opportunity down. Like, especially like Andrew's like really taking a shot in the dark here because I have no experience in New York prior. And in my head, I'm like, I got to make this guy look so damn good. Like, it's going to take time, but I have to do whatever it takes. And so she's like, well, look, I'm actually leaving Saturday. You get here Sunday. I'm gone the next 4 months traveling. Just take my apartment. We'll figure out the money later. I know I'm like just met you, but like.
The universe was like,
yeah,
sprinkle,
exactly.
sprinkle.
So that was kind of like where the divine intervention comes from. And then the rest is history.
I absolutely love that. I mean, that's.
I just told you more than anyone else knows. So, like, if anyone I work with watches this, they're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then you're going to be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, now you have your dream job. We have to flex for, like, a second. What was one of the biggest houses that you sold?
The biggest that I have sold so far, independent, though. Well, this is the thing, right?
Or, like, under Andrew, too, that you were a part of?
There's one we have in contract right now for 5.1.
Okay.
That we both like worked on, but independently the most, and this is where like the misconception comes from with a lot of things, is that like the most I've independently sold was like 880,000, right?
Yeah.
But coming from Buffalo, things like that don't even sell.
No.
So to me, I'm like, I'm living the high life.
You literally
like,
get a few of those and you're good. And you've only been at the company for how long?
2 years.
Yeah.
But a lot of the help and success has come from like Andrew really mentoring me, even though I like know the business. But like together with in the millions, like 1.3, there's one we just did for 5.1, but like independently.
And then you showed me that one house when Chef Darren and Jessica came that was like 16.5.
Yeah, that's Andrew's. That's Andrew and Ryan's. And then being on the team, he's like, you're gonna do the showings. I'm gonna allow you to do this, and then but you could also market it. Yeah, that you have access to this, and that's kind of like how it works too.
Also, just like that's something that you and I talked about before. Like, it's so important to obviously social media stuff. Like, you saw I did a joint collaboration post with you and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that we had all these mutuals. I didn't know that all these people would come to your page. Like, they want to see what I'm up to. And now you know that after we have the conversation, you're like, I need to be better on LinkedIn. Now you're better on LinkedIn. You're like, I need to post more. Like, you see what social media does for that. I don't say it's not about the follower count. It's about the connections you make. Yeah. And if you go to a new city tomorrow and you say, hey, best rooftop bar, and you're going to have, 10 people slide into your DMs giving you those things, like, you don't have to search it anymore, And
it's also a double-edged sword too. Like, I'm very like, I don't ever want to be that person that's like showing off all these crazy properties and people are like, oh my God, you do 10, 20, $30 million sales. I'm like, no. Like, I have access to those and I market myself that way because that's eventually where I'm going.
Exactly.
But for right now, this is what I'm doing. So I'm very like upfront about it.
Yeah.
But because I've seen both sides where there's people that like we work with where they're like, you guys are the social media people. I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
So like Ryan and even my team lead Andrew are very like, know what you're doing. Don't like when people talk to you, they need to find you valuable.
Yeah.
Don't let them be like, I saw your Instagram and okay,
like, what is
you're
that?
kind of full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. So I'm very upfront when people are like, what's this? What's that? I'm like, we're on our way.
No, I love it. I'm always here to help. Okay, so I have some, kind of Buffalo questions, When people ask you where you're from, obviously you say Buffalo, New York. Yeah. Is there a reaction right away, or are you a Bills fan, or do you tell them you're a Bills fan?
Both.
Okay.
So usually the first question after that, Bills fan, I say die hard.
Okay.
Like die hard, and I emphasize it because it's true. I say Buffalo, and then, or I'll cut them. I won't cut them off, but I'll immediately interject and be like, if your next question's am I a Bills fan, die hard, yes.
Okay, and do you convert people into Bills fans?
No.
What?
No,
I literally convert everyone I know.
No. Because
what if they don't have a team that they're a fan of?
Okay, you could be a Bills fan, but you're not a real Bills fan. Because are you going to be there? Are you going to be there when they suck? Because when Josh Allen retires, they're bound to suck again. So it's like we only want real ride or dies.
Okay, that's fair.
That's me at least. That's me.
That's fair. Okay. Does New York City pizza even come close to a Buffalo slice with that cup and char?
It's different.
That's what I said.
It's different. You can't compare.
But I do love the Sicilian slices here, like that Detroit deep dish style.
Yeah.
Because that's like popping off right now in Buffalo, and all these places were opening up.
I think it's the type of pizza that you like.
True.
Because now that I've been in New York, Prince Street's my favorite.
Oh, I love Prince Street.
And I really don't know what I would pick if I had to pick between Picasso's or Prince Street. And I know that's really a hot take.
Okay, did you see?
But I'm going to go Picasso's because I'm biased.
Okay.
And
I love Imperial
Pizza. I'll
Pizza.
never say anything bad about Buffalo.
I love Imperial Pizza. My little sister worked at Nino's for a while, so I was eating Nino's a lot. Chicken and wings, though. I love my wing nuts. I love Barbell. I love 911. My parents are obsessed with 911. Doc Sullivan's 40 Thieves.
I not grew up, but my grandma lived on Bloomfield, right where 911 is.
Okay.
So if you walk out of 911 and go to the right, it's like the third or fourth house down, the blue one.
Okay.
I lived there till I was like 3 or 4.
Oh, that's like, I'm from South Buffalo and then went to high school in West Seneca West. Went to elementary school, like Catholic school for a little bit, then switched over to public school. And I had such an amazing experience. And so many of my high school teachers all live in the Elmwood Village, that's where like my apartment is in Buffalo. Yeah. And I feel like that's so like amazing that I can be like walking down the street and just run into, Mr. Olmsted over here. Oh, Miss Reed over here, Miss McDermott. And I'm just like, and it's so like, they haven't seen me in like years, but.
And I think that's the allure that keeps people in Buffalo, because you don't get that anywhere else. Like,
no,
I don't mean this in a negative way, which some people are going to take it in a negative way.
Compared
to Buffalo, New York City is soulless.
You know what? It's so funny because
and maybe that's an extreme way of saying it, but you immediately know what I'm talking about, right?
This is my story. This is the fact of I bond with the girls, bond with the guys, whatever, and it's like an interview process. And we hang out all one night. We're out getting drinks. And then it's like, oh, my God, let's go out. And then they're like, oh, let's go out for coffee. We go out for coffee, go our separate ways. Okay, we'll go out for lunch. We go out for lunch, go our separate ways. Then we go out for dinner, and then go our separate ways. I'm like, so you're not going to invite me out after? Or like, is it weird if I see if you want to come over and I cook you dinner?
Yeah.
Like, and I hate that.
Yeah.
Because when I hit it off with someone, next day, we are literally getting dinner. That weekend, we're hanging out. Oh, you want to come to my parents' house? They're having a barbecue. Like, it's not weird. Here, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, and like, and they don't want to tell you everything. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I just love people.
Yes. And that's what I mean by it. Like, Brandon, who runs Rachel's, shout out Rachel's. He goes to all my family parties. I'm here in New York. So my mom's like, Brandon's coming over today or doing this, doing that.
Yes.
I'm like, how do you know more what's going on with the family than I do?
That's how it goes.
But that's the Buffalo, though. It's very family-centric. It's very community-centric. And I think that's also what makes Buffalo such a unique place.
Why you and I are taking that and we are not leaving our Buffalo roots behind, clearly.
No.
We are bringing it to New York City. And I'm going to bring so much more business back into Buffalo because then I also still have my brand in Buffalo. Yeah. But it's crazy because we're going to be making some crazy switches coming soon, which I wonder, like, when we launch this, if all the switches have been made. Yeah. But I'm super excited for that.
I'm bringing people to games this year.
Yes. And we have game day in New York.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it's going to be nonstop. And the second week, the Bills come here and Bills Mafia is going to take over this city. So, all right, we have to come to a close. Yep. I want you to give all your shout outs and where they can find you and,
I got to look. I don't even know what my own Instagram handle is.
Oh, my God. Get it together.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying.
You're on a host where social media is the best.
Jon Antonio, JonAntonio _ That's my Instagram. I'm a real estate broker at Serhant, so you could look up that on Serhant.
And the Netflix show, what's that?
I wasn't on it, but
no,
the
no,
Netflix,
but
the Netflix. Oh, yes,
because
Owning
it's
Manhattan.
so good. Owning
Yes.
Manhattan.
Owning Manhattan on Netflix.
Go check that out.
Yes.
And it won some awards, so go check that out.
And then in terms of shout outs, the boys, Brandon Guzda specifically, Rachel's Mediterranean.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm trying to get Rachel's here in the city.
I texted him and I said, get
Maybe
it here.
I'm a Buffalo homer, but I think Rachel's would knock Chipotle, Cava, all of them out of the water.
All day. Yeah, no, I've heard about this Cava. But Rachel's is killing it in Texas too. But yeah, bring it here. I'll be your girl.
And then, of course, which camera do I look in? Any of them?
I think that one.
That one?
Yeah.
Any of these?
Yeah.
Mom, how are you? Love you. That's all.
I love that. Okay, well, cheers, John. Thank you so much for coming. I can't wait to see, like, you and I are just like here making our dreams come true, and keep up with the crazy manifestation, because when you mentioned that, I used to tell people I was dropping a crazy clothing line even though I had like one sample in my basement. So
what's Chef Darian's restaurant?
Bratz Hill.
Bratz Hill, we got to give that a shout out.
Okay,
Bratz
Hill.
I remember when he asked me about it, I didn't even know. He's like, what?
Yeah, they'll be, him and Jess will be on here because they are like brains in operations.
Yeah,
but,
so we got to give them a shout out because they're amazing people too.
Well, I will see you, all summer, and I'll see you at the Bills games in New York and in Buffalo. Cheers. Go Bills. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
From small town roots to the big city hustle, remember your past doesn't define you. Your passion does. If something hits home today, share it, tag me, even write in. Be a part of this community. This isn't just my mic, it's ours. Check the episode description below for all the links. Until next time, keep building your empire your way.